I'm Corey Frizzell, and today we're going to interview Justin Doan and talk about his life and the hard times he went through.
I just want to say before we start this that my father has declined interviews as well as a lot of my other family members, so that's why you won't see most of them on here, but you'll see a lot of interviews from a lot of people who are dear to me in my life, and it'll be very interesting. You'll experience the fun times, the good times, the bad times, so sit back and enjoy this long ride that is the crazy Justin Doan life.
Justin, could you start off by telling us the beginning of your life?
Of course I can. Well, I was born in 1990 on June 10th in Barberton, I believe. Barberton or Kenmore, one of those two places. They don't tell me anything. But, yeah, by my loving mother and my loving father, Robert Doan and Christine Doan, and my brother was there to witness it as well, Jeffrey Doan. Um, I guess you could say I had a semi-normal childhood in a way. I did normal kids things that kids did in the 1990s, which was played in traffic and played Super Nintendo and, did crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? You were there. You did it.
I wasn't there, but I was somewhere else doing
Right.
the same thing.
You were playing in traffic.
So I can agree with you.
We didn't have PlayStations then.
I played in a creek.
Yes, I did the same thing. Anyways.
Wait, which creek was it?
I have no idea.
Okay, go on.
We're going off on the subject. Anyways, as far back as I can remember, it's probably when I was 3 years old. Okay, it was weird. It was weird times. Three. I know that my brother pushed me into a wall. That was the first memory I had when I was 3. He pushed me into a wall. We were playing Super Nintendo, and you'll probably hear what his side of the story is. His side of the story is that I was bothering him, and he just decides to push me in the wall, and my two front teeth go upward into my lip, and it was just a nasty thing. What we were doing is we were playing Super Nintendo, and I wasn't bothering him. He just decides that he loses the game and picks me up and just pushes me into the wall. Very brutal. My mom stayed up with me all night because it was at nighttime. Couldn't get to the dentist till the next morning, and she was crying more than I was because she was afraid I was going to swallow my teeth in the middle of the night and choke on them. I was crying for a little bit. Blood was everywhere, but that's like my first memories from when I was 3 years old that I can remember. So yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was very brutal. I left a crack in the wall.
How long did you live there?
In that house? Oh, we moved. We moved around so much when I was young. I don't know. I probably went to like 6 different schools during my first 2 kindergarten years. By the way, I was in kindergarten for 3 years. First time I went too early. Second time I wasn't ready. Third time, nailed it. Yes, I did. And yeah, so I went to probably like 6 different schools. I know I went to Decker. I went to Mickey Bright. Those are the only 2 schools I can remember. Or McGlover. Or Glover, McGlover, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so those are my earliest memories, and we moved around a lot. I know when I was 5, I started remembering a lot. Like, we lived behind a vacuum store. It was really cool, And in front was the vacuum store, behind was our house, and I forget how we got that place. We lived there for like 3 months. By the way, not to go off topic, but we never lived anywhere for more than 4 months or 5 months because my parents had a funny way of doing things. They would live there until they had to pay rent, and then they would move. So they wouldn't pay the rent. So a lot of times, yeah, we wouldn't pay rent, and we would move to our next place or something like that. It's not that my dad didn't have a job. He always had a job. He was working at a pizza place or somewhere. My mom would be working too. It's just they must have been too lazy to pay the rent. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
What was your parents' life like at home?
Oh boy. Well, from as far up to I can remember, it was bad. It was bad. We'll say from 95 to 96 in those 2 years. Okay, I remember calling the cops on my parents at least, man, in a year, probably 7 or 8 times. I called the cops on them. They were always fighting. My brother was running away from home. It was bad. I know my brother, I believe, got taken away when I was 6 to foster care because he was just running away too much, and finally that they had had enough, and so that had happened. And they were always fighting. I remember a lot of stories from my mom and dad. Like, my dad had carried me in his hands because my mom was doing something to make him mad, and he picked up a big rock. It was like this big, threw it at my mom's knee, and like she just lay there crying, and all of us, and I'm being carried away by my dad down the road, and he has a baseball bat in his hand for some reason. I'm glad he didn't hit it with the bat, but he was mad as can be, and I'm just sitting there wondering like. I'm 5 or 6 years old, and my dad hit my mom in the knee with a big rock.
Did you call the cops?
No, because I was in my dad's arms, so I couldn't really call the cops or nothing like that. But my mom got him back when he got back. His guitar had been thrown out the window. So yeah, and then the cops were called. He called the cops on her. So yeah, there was a lot of fights. I remember it was just I don't know. I could tell stories all day, but I'd rather not. Just too many fights, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of fights.
A lot of fights when I was growing up. Too many fights to be exact.
So, after the fighting, where did your parents go from there?
Like as in out of the house, where did they go?
Just anything.
Oh. Well, my dad would normally leave and go to this old guy's house named Grand Dog. He's dead now. But yeah, he would normally go there. It was like a father figure to my dad, and my mom would just sit at home and listen to music and yell at me. And I always thought it was my fault that they were fighting, but it wasn't. And I would always go outside.
Why did you think it was their fault?
My fault?
Why did you think it was your fault?
Oh, why did I think it was my fault? I don't know, because they're always arguing, and they always mention my name in the argument, so it was just like, well, obviously, since they're yelling, my name's involved, it's my fault, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had thought for so long.
So tell me a little bit more about your relationship with your parents.
Well, most of the time, my mother and father were living separately, okay? I was a part of my mom and dad's wedding. They didn't get married till I believe I was 95 or 96, I don't know. But it was a small wedding in like a church house or something like that with just me, my brother, my dad, and my mom. And that marriage didn't last too long. But they were always together, on and off and on and off. We lived together, we didn't live together. But me and my brother always lived with my mom up until the point where my brother left. But my relationship with my dad in the early years was actually not bad, from what I can remember. I don't have many memories of him though. Like, the memories I have of him are him, yelling with my mom, throwing stuff at my mom and dad arguing all the time. Those are the memories I have of him.
What about the memories with your mom?
Those I have a lot of memories with my mom. Like, honestly, how's that Coke treating you?
Coke kind of upsets my stomach a little bit.
Okay.
And it actually makes me poop.
All right.
I don't know why. It's the only beverage that does that.
All right.
But this isn't about me. This is about you.
It's about me.
Tell me more about
about
your mother.
The relationship with my mom, it was kind of cool actually. Like, I had seen the lowest of the lows to obviously in the later years the highest of the highs, but like my mom would get so trashed out of her mind like every night. It was ridiculous. I went to the bar with her and seen her get drunk many times when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I remember this one time, this sticks in my mind. She got so ridiculously trashed at the bar, and this dude offered to take her home. So he took her and myself to his house, not to our house. And I wasn't thinking nothing of it.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 6 years old. I'm thinking 6 years old. And my mom got in the car. We go to his house. He sits me in the other room and is trying to put on TV. He had a big screen TV, and he wants to play cartoons. So he has cable, okay? And he pops on cable. And I was just like, no, I don't. I want to be with my mom. And she was in the other room, and I kept going to the other room, and he kept, like, picking me up and taking me to the other room and putting on the TV for me. And I didn't want it. And he set me in the other room and said, stay here. I'll make you food later or whatever. And so I stayed there for a little while, and I come in, and he's trying to, like, rape my mother. I walk in on my mother almost being raped, and I don't know. I wouldn't stop coming into the room, so he obviously couldn't do it. He didn't get the job done. I don't know how we got home that day, but that's what happened.
So that just comes to show all the terrible stuff you had to go through because of their lifestyle.
Yeah, their lifestyle. I almost was a witness to my mother's rape, which would have been horrible. But I'm glad that I was such a weirdo that I had to, be with my mom. I knew something was wrong and I knew something was up, so I had to be in the same room at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just an example of, I mean, that's not all our relationship was based on. Like, my mother was really awesome to me and she tried hard. She just, I don't know, she couldn't keep up with the lifestyle and myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is why my brother got taken away, and which is why ultimately later on in 1997, which we'll talk about on the next segment, that things start getting really bad.